Carbonly Conversation.
Quick question. Is this the podcast? Are we doing the podcast right now?
Well, welcome back, our Carbonly listeners. We're here today again with my good friend Steven.
Yo.
And Shade.
Hello there.
And as those that have been listening each day this week, it's Food and Farm Week on our Carbonly Conversations. And we haven't had a chance to dig in deep. I guess that's pun related. Let's dig in deep with Steven.
Get our hands dirty.
Get our hands dirty about just his... It sounds a little too emotional, but like his relationship to his food. You know, where does it come from? Like, how does he feel about it? And we've talked a little bit about farmers markets, growing food, our experiences at them, the recipes that come from it. But love, Steven, for you to share with our listeners just a little bit more about how important it is to buy food from a farmer, or what do you look for when you go to a farmer's market, or maybe the last most amazing experience you had with some food.
So farmers markets are really important to me because it's not just, the relationship doesn't end when I take the food home, cook the food, eat the food, and that's it. That's like, it really is a whole ecosystem. Not so much now because it's November, but, gearing up to the springtime when I'm ready to plant my own garden again, I've realized that I don't need to buy seeds. I only buy seeds if there's something really fun, if there's like an heirloom tomato that I can't find somewhere, then I'll order some seeds. But usually I go to my farmer's market, I get, like all the organic produce, and then I use that to regrow my garden. So if I depend on the farmers markets to regrow my own garden, as well as, food, it's a great source of exercise for me and my dog. Wednesdays, Bruno and I will, when I have time, we'll go to the Union Square farmers market, and there's always tons of dogs there, so it's a lot of fun for him. They usually have like a lot of treats for him. They'll sell me like, here's like a cow bone that he could chew on or whatever. So it's a part of my life, and it's embedded in such a way that it affects other parts of my life. It affects it affects my recreation, it affects my exercise, and it affects, how I interact with small business. And coming from Jamaica, where I think I was much more in tune with the land, with like the life of a farmer, it's something that I think I miss. I always get nostalgia. I always feel, a little bit more relaxed. I feel like I'm on the right path if when I'm going to farmers markets consistently, when I'm eating healthy, if I eat bad, I feel bad. I think bad thoughts, so it's important, like half the reason why I work out, why I eat right is because it feels good, like I'm a more effective individual if I'm, moving my body and eating well. So, yeah.
There's a lot to unpack in there, and I love every inch of this garden story. The first thing, what I'm hearing is that it's a very personal relationship you have with your food and how you obtain it, what you do to be the best version of Steven each and every day. Is that fair?
Yes.
So let's back up where you talked about you go to the farmer's market, get your food, and that's what you use to plant your garden. So are you sharing with all of us that you buy food and then pull the seeds out of it when you're getting it ready to cook and then dry those seeds out to plant in the near future?
Yeah, it's different depending on what you're planting, but like let's take garlic for instance. I usually I'll get like they sell the organic garlic because I think it doesn't work as well. It's hit or miss if you don't buy organic garlic. Like I've bought like I've gone to my bodega, gotten a clove of garlic, and you basically like you break apart each individual clove and that serves as a seed. But when it's not organic, it doesn't work as well. Like either maybe half of them come up or none of them come up, which says, and I feel like that's sort of like an indicator that maybe I shouldn't be putting this in my body if it can't support life. So I get the organic ones from the farmer's market, and like if I buy 3 cloves of garlic, I use 2 and then I save 1 for planting. And that's, I love that because I feel like I am continuing the cycle that way. I don't want it to just end. Like it's great that the farmers get my money and I get the produce, but I'd like to prolong the relationship. Like, so yeah.
Got it.
And then it's also great if you buy something from the store. Let's say I cooked for you guys and I bought and you're like, oh my God, I love these like purple carrots. Where did you get these? And I just go, Whole Foods. That's cool because then now you could go to Whole Foods and get your own carrots. But it would be so great if I could be like, oh, Joe, he runs Maple Farms. He's usually in the middle part, like closer to the Capital One in Union Square on Wednesdays and Mondays. And he sells the best carrots. He can, talk to him. He can tell you all about what they do down at Maple Farms. Like that to me feels a lot better. And I think it goes a lot further into this, like maintaining this relationship and keeping it going than if I'm just like Whole Foods,
Yeah. Like it stops at the transaction versus, I mean, in that story, like you went on purposely talk to people to buy food to cook for Shane and I. So when Shane and I are like, oh, this is delicious. Where did you get this? You could be like, meet the farmers at Maple Farm. Like, here's where the purple carrots from, pick farm name for all these others. And Shane and I can go build a relationship with them. And that just continues to grow. Like that amplifies, I mean, from the social value to the economic value to the health value, like it seems like a trio of just happiness. So, which leads me into my other question was on what you were sharing. It's like, it's almost like this is, I'm going to say it like this, and I don't know if like the spiritual sense of it, and maybe true, or the religious sense of it, but it's almost like it's a ritual, right? If I'm hearing your relationship to the farmer's market on Wednesday with Bruno, and you go and play with other dogs, or Bruno plays with other dogs, you talk to people, like that time with people and Bruno, like is really important for your health but that's part of a routine or ritual that you, again, I'm getting too far in the religious language. Like you almost worship in the sense of like, this is important. So I'm dedicating and being disciplined and doing this because I know if I don't, bad things happen, or I don't feel good, or I think things that I wouldn't think otherwise, which were what you shared. Could you share a little bit more with our listeners? Like why have you dedicated that time in that way? I want to be careful because this get really personal and not the goal, but we do want to get personal with our food.
it's important. It's important to me, and I really have like structured my life around being able to go to farmers markets. I don't always make it out every week, but it's really important that I have the option to go. Just because I have, run into a lot of depression in my life, or I'm sort of carving out my own path in life, rather than like choosing one sort of like that's laid out for me. And doing that, like running a small business, like leading a life where I'm chasing passions rather than money can be stressful, and to do what I need to do on a daily basis consistently, I need to be focused. And I found in my life that if I'm eating and moving, focus comes easier to me. Depression stays away, and that can only, then I can become like a contributing member to my community. I'm not just a person. I'm continuing that relationship. So yeah, it means a lot, because it's the things I want to do. Whether directly or indirectly, these farmers markets make it easier for me.
Yep.
Is it fair to say like this helps you strike a balance between all the things that you're trying to accomplish, and what's the right phrase? What's the right word? And food, farmers markets, the relationship to it, cooking, this time away from the things you're trying to succeed in, these help balance out the harder and more difficult times with something that you find a lot of passion and joy in. That maybe might be easier, but is more available versus the success you're looking to build.
Yeah. And it just, there are just so many branches of positivity that just a simple act of going to a farmer's market rewards me with. I'm aware that, I could get farmer's market products just delivered to me, but then I lose out on the community aspect. Mm-hmm. I lose out on, moving my body, and also like the appreciation, I feel like whether it's fresh produce or store bought, if it's delivered, I kind of lose out on the appreciation value, like if it's just delivered to my doorstep, versus like going, and like if you go early enough, you see them setting up, and you see
Sure.
everything that goes into it. You see all the produce that they're unloading. They're there multiple times a week. They're there, I think, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. So you get to see like all the hard work that goes into this, and you're reminded this didn't, come from a store. This didn't, like magically appear. People had to work for this. So it gives me a little incentive to not waste, to appreciate it a little bit more.
Sure.
And then it's, again, that then feeds into like my own gardening. So I feel like I could go on and on about this.
So with my experience, with my limited experience with farmers markets, I find that it diversifies like the produce that I would usually buy. So when you're going to visit, do you always have like a list of specific items that you're looking to buy, and then also kind of wanting to try, like if something just catches your eye, like, oh, I've never cooked with that, like, and just buy it just to try it? Or like, what's your approach, I guess, when you?
Yeah. I think that's the more fun part is, yeah, of course I usually have a list, and it's not a very big list because I'm doing it week to week. But I always leave room in the budget to like buy something that I'm just surprised by. Like the last thing I bought was cranberries. I've never bought fresh cranberries before ever. And I wasn't planning on it. And I saw this guy and he was just like chilling. He had like a bunch of fresh cranberries in different size containers. And I was just like, I passed the stand like a few times while getting my other items. And I was like, man, I don't think I've even eaten a fresh cranberry.
Right.
So I went and I asked him if I could try one. I did. It was not for me. Fresh cranberries absolutely suck, in my opinion. But I ended up buying some and I made cranberry muffins. And that was great. And I think it's now
delicious.
Something that I want to make. Like, I want to perfect the recipe. So I'm going to be making them over and over again. And so I'll be going to him over and over again, you know?
Yeah.
And so like in that one instance, I got introduced to a new vendor, a new food. I have new goals, you know, like it's its own ecosystem.
I love it.
Yep. No, I'm glad what you shared about just reusing the seeds and things like that to grow your own food has definitely sparked something in my mind. I'm going to start taking that approach. Garlic's a good start because that's just easy. You don't have to take any seeds out and dry them out and things like that. So
potatoes also very easy. You just cut the eyes off.
Yeah.
Onions.
Yeah. And I think I also want to start giving like growing maybe in excess and then giving like maybe baby vegetable plants or baby fruit plants to people as gifts rather than like, you know, like it's something that I just came up with while talking to you guys. Cause it's, you know, like the common theme in this conversation has been continuing the system, continuing the ecosystem, like going past the transaction. So if I can, you know, like buy food from farmers markets, grow them myself, and then give them to other people, I'm then, you know, that's one more step in like making a cycle. You know, then they know where I got it from. They can get their own seeds, maybe in taking care of my gifted plant. Then they start, you know, buying more plants and boom, I've created another branch, you know, in this sort of like org chart. I don't know. It's a great idea.
It's actively being Carbonly. Like those are actions our listeners can take, we're taking. You know, and it's just a journey, right? It's you take one step at a time, you create more actions, you influence others, you influence yourself to make cleaner, smarter decisions. And here we are. Well, that feels good. I think we'll wrap up here and have Shane read us out and look forward to the next conversation in this series. And who knows, 2023 is coming up soon. We may have a whole different topic, a month-long topic maybe in 2023. We'll find out more. But the only way for you to know is to tune in, like, and follow us on Carbonly Conversations. Yeah.
Instagram, CRBNLY. And you can also follow our YouTube channel, Carbonly Conversations. Join in, be part of the conversation. Let us know what your farmers markets experiences are, what you look for, what you know, if you do what Steven does and try to regrow some of the products, let us know your techniques or what's easier to grow. Like, let's all just be part of the conversation together, share each other's knowledge, and help grow this lifestyle one conversation at a time.
Love it.